About a month ago, I picked up my first ever Kindle, and I've been trying really hard to decide whether or not I like it better than reading physical books. I even did an Instagram poll asking this question whether people like physical books or Kindles, and over 80% of people chose physical books. But after doing my own research, it became very clear to me that the benefits and functionality of owning a Kindle are super compelling and actually make it really hard to justify buying physical books. In this video, I'm going to outline the pros and cons of owning a Kindle and also owning physical books. And also at the end of the video, I'm going to show you where I've landed after owning a Kindle for about a month now and reading about 3 to 4 books on it so far. Okay, so firstly, I'm actually going to start with all the reasons why you should not buy a Kindle and why physical books are better. So the first reason I have for owning physical books over a Kindle is the excitement that you get when you get a brand new book in the mail. It's so hard to compare this against any other feeling, and then being able to store your books on a bookshelf and seeing your bookshelf grow over time with more books, that's a feeling that you cannot get with the Kindle. And to be completely honest, the beginning of this year when I first started taking reading more seriously, this was definitely one of the biggest reasons why I stuck with it. Just the fun part of buying books, getting them in the mail, and then the smell of it, physically holding it, you completely lose this aspect with the Kindle. Now moving on, the second reason why I like physical books over the Kindle is the fact that you could completely unplug from technology. When reading on a Kindle, you are using a piece of technology, and even though the tech is very bare bones and there's not much distracting content on the Kindle itself, you do get reminded quite often that you're using a piece of tech. For example, when waking up the Kindle, sometimes it takes a little long to wake up, and then also the touchscreen gets a little buggy at times. These things do add up, and it reminds you that you're using technology. With a physical book, you are completely unplugged, and there's no comparison to that. The next reason for owning physical books over a Kindle actually does not apply to me personally, but I know it does to a lot of other people. If you like to highlight and mark up your books, you cannot do that on a Kindle. Physical books are the only way you can take a pen or a highlighter and physically mark up your books with notes. The Kindle does have note-taking abilities, which I'll talk about later on in this video, but if you like the highlighting aspect and writing aspect with a physical pen and paper, the physical book definitely has that, and the Kindle has no comparison. And the last reason for owning a physical book over a Kindle is the actual progress aspect of flipping through pages. When I first started reading a lot more this year, I got that overwhelming feeling of accomplishment as I got through the book and just feeling like I'm halfway done, I'm almost done. You just feel that a lot more than with a Kindle. The Kindle does have a percentage that comes up at the bottom of the screen, but obviously that does not compare to physically turning the page. Alright, those are all the reasons why I enjoy physical books over the Kindle, but now let's change gears and talk about why the Kindle is better than physical books. You'll notice that physical books have a lot more emotional and subjective reasons for them. When it comes to the Kindle, it's 100% about functionality, and there is a lot of it. My first and favorite reason for owning a Kindle are the note-taking and highlighting features you get while you're reading a book. At any point while you're reading, you can actually press and hold on a word, a sentence, or a paragraph and do a highlight super easily. At this point, you can just save a highlight to remember something you're reading. If it's just one word, it'll automatically pull up the dictionary for you, so you get definition for the word if you're not sure what it is. Or if it's a longer passage, you can actually even save a note alongside your highlight so you can remember something you're thinking while you're reading. But where the true power of the Kindle note-taking system comes into play is the ability to open up your notes and highlights on your phone, your computer, or your iPad. All your notes and highlights get saved to the cloud. This makes it super easy and convenient to go back after you're done reading and go through all your notes and write them down in a notebook or on your computer. It's very easy to read a book and not have to worry about taking notes in the moment. You just highlight, save a quick note while you're reading, and then go back on your computer or on your iPad or your phone and take your notes afterwards. I personally prefer this because I can actually read a book much faster, and I can spend much more dedicated and focused time on the note-taking side of things. And it also is so much more convenient to have access to all your notes in a digital format on any device with the Kindle app. That's a huge advantage you cannot get with a physical book. The next major reason for owning a Kindle over the physical book is the ability to have multiple books on your Kindle. Now, there are actually a couple points that go along with this. The first one is if you're just watching something on TV or talking to a friend and you hear about a book suggestion, you can easily go and download the book right away, instantly to your device. There's absolutely no delay in waiting for a new book to arrive, and it's also very instant, so you don't have to worry about remembering it for later on. And now on top of that, you can also just bring your Kindle with you whenever you leave the house, and you have your entire library of books in your bag. No more having to choose which book or two to bring along with you. Your Kindle has everything on it. And secondly, when I read a physical book, I have this very large pressure to finish the entire book. What I've learned though is if you're reading a book for the sake of just reading it to finish it and not actually enjoying it, you're taking the fun out of it. You want to be reading books that you're actually enjoying. There's no harm in starting a book and then putting it down if you aren't enjoying it. On a Kindle, I can actually really easily start a book and then continue it for a little bit, and if I find it to be a little boring, I can put it down and read something else. I'm much more likely to continue another book and stop reading the first book if I don't like it. And that pressure of finishing the book is just completely erased because it's a digital book. I don't have to worry about the physical feeling of a book sitting on my nightstand waiting for me to read it. On a Kindle, I can just put it away. If I don't like it, I'll just stop it completely, or I can come back to it later. And a bonus to go alongside this, if you don't like a book on a Kindle, you have 7 days to return it for a full refund, and it's super easy to do this. With a physical book, you have to mail it back. On the Kindle, it's just a few clicks on the computer and you get the full refund. Another amazing part of owning a Kindle is the Kindle bookstore on Amazon. Firstly, the number of books to choose from in the Amazon bookstore is absolutely insane. They obviously take the cake here for the number of books available to buy. However, another side effect of having a large library of books in the bookstore are the book suggestions. And what I'm finding is when I go into the Amazon bookstore on my Kindle, it actually already comes up with suggestions based on previous books I've bought. And this is only possible because they have so many books in their library. The Kindle bookstore is actually also a lot cheaper than physical books. I found a lot of the Kindle books I've bought are $5 to $10 cheaper than the physical copy. And on top of that, whenever you buy certain books, I'm not sure why this happens, but Amazon will give you a credit for a future book. And I've done this a couple times already, and I basically have gotten a free book, maybe even 2 by now, with the credits I've gotten back by purchasing Kindle books. And even more on top of this, the Kindle bookstore actually has a clearance section, that's the best thing I can call it, for books that are just $1 or $3, and there are a bunch of options here to choose from. The Kindle will basically pay for itself with the cheaper book prices, and I really love that. All right, my last major reason for buying a Kindle over physical books is the readability aspect. One thing I was a little concerned about when I bought my Kindle was straining my eyes by reading on a digital display compared to physical paper. However, the Kindle display is nothing like the display on your phone or your computer. It's an ink display, it's a black and white anti-glare display, and it's very, very satisfying to read on. It's essentially the same thing as reading on a physical piece of paper, and there has been no eye strain for me yet, and I've had this for a month. But what makes this even more unique is the ability to have the backlight display, and if you have the Oasis Kindle, you actually have the warm adjustable light as well. This actually makes the Kindle even better than physical books when it comes to reading in the dark. And one of my biggest annoyances with reading physical books is having to have a light. And by my bed, I have a special reading light. Whenever I traveled on an airplane, the overhead light always had to be turned on. And that was always one extra annoying thing I would have to figure out when I wanted to read. And with the Kindle, I can literally go to any environment and I can see everything very clearly. And it's encouraging me to read in more relaxing places. I love going outside in the evening time when the sun is going down and just reading on my Kindle. And then also in bed, there's no fiddling with the light or anything like that. It makes it so much easier, and it's just much more convenient to have that built in. And of course, when you read on a Kindle, there's so much more flexibility. You can choose the font size, the orientation, all of these things that you cannot do with physical books. So at the end of the day, both physical books and Kindles have their pros and cons. And for me personally, when I bought my Kindle, I was really upset that I was losing out on adding more books to my bookshelf and getting new books in the mail. That satisfying feeling was really hard to get over. However, after a month of using my Kindle, I can pretty confidently say that I prefer my Kindle over physical books. Before owning my Kindle, I would read about 1 to 2 books a month, and after owning my Kindle for a month here, I've already read 3, almost 4 books so far. Yes, getting over the emotional attachment of physical books is very difficult, and it took me some time to do that, but what I care about more is the knowledge and the content itself within the books, and for that, the Kindle has given me so much more than I've ever gotten with a physical book. So to end this video, I have to say, if you're reading for fun or for leisure, physical books are great for that. But if you're reading for knowledge and to learn more and continue reading as much as you can, then I strongly believe owning a Kindle will be great for you. Thanks so much for watching this video. I actually have a full review on my Kindle Oasis if you're interested in learning more about which Kindle is right for you. And I also send out a weekly newsletter, and I sometimes talk about books I'm reading. So if you're interested in reading more about things that I'm reading about, subscribe to my weekly newsletter, link down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.